Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Bootser. Blackhand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name is Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored. Back by popular demand, it's Periquito, Periquito. You know what? He's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm going to tell you something about this whole series, right? Because we're doing the initial debrief, and this is just the initial debrief, right? This is when he sat down with the cops and said, "This is who I am, this is what I did, and this is where I can take you." This is where a whole slew of investigations jump off. And understand that this is the inception point. They're thinking about everything he's saying, and you can hear Francis Hardiman typing away on the keyboard, taking copious notes, and 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 you could see Perico. He's kind of tentative. I don't know about murders. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. But he does, right? And we have a saying in Spanish, todo sale a flote. Like everything comes out. Everything comes out in the wash, right? So everything's going to come out here. And this is going to parlay into a massive investigation. A massive investigation that resulted in a lot of convictions, but ultimately failed. Operation La Halle, right? Which involved Fox Tapia, Mike Moreno, a bunch of brothers, right? We're going to get into that, but this is just the inception. So I want you to just stop for a moment and think about one of the most powerful trifectas that came to be, right? Well, it's not even a trifecta because it's got four entities involved, right? Think of one, the Mexican Mafia. Think of two, the Mongols. Think of three, the Armenian Russian Mafia. And think of four, the cartels. Think of that as a union of sorts, doing business under one roof with the agreement of each other, right? This is something that he put together, Ralph Rocha. A lot of people don't know that. And a lot of people don't know that I have that video. And we're going to show every bit of it, folks. So this is, like I said, this is going to segue into that, right? And the Operation La Halle meetings. And in fact, they rented a warehouse just for this investigation because ATF went all the way out and popped for a warehouse. He had an office and he conducted business there with a number of individuals. And we have high resolution video, we have high resolution audio. Excuse me. In the morning, one of the people say I had a couple of comments about my throat and how I feel, and it sounds like I'm on H, and I have gastroesophageal reflux disease. So at nighttime, I have this rise of acid in my throat, and it scorches my vocal cords. So I'm always continuously doing that. In fact, I got this one product, I'll show you right there, that I squirt in my throat in the mornings, so it takes away the burning, right? And it's just an over-counter thing. It's one of the things that I've found have helped. In fact, let me do that now. It might clear up my throat a bit. I don't want to sound like I'm... It tastes horrible. It tastes horrible, but it's pretty effective. See, I hear my voice clearing up already. I got the radio voice again. All right, so this thing segues everywhere. It's like metastases. Think of oncology, right? Cancer. And you get a tumor and it spreads. It's called metastases, right? It metastasizes. It spreads, right? So this investigation spreads everywhere, and he's at the head of it. I'm telling you, Ralph Rocha was ahead of his time. You know, not, extremely book smart, but he's savvy, he's street smart, he's politically smart, and he's a hustler, right? He's not a real doer. He's not out there doing this, right? He's not. That was never his get down. Even when he caught that case in Santa Maria, he had Tommy Moreno go do it, and all he did was slap the guy. That's why he got indicted. So he's really not a doer, right? But he's a doer in terms of business. He's a mover and a shaker, and he's a hustler. He has foresight. He has this panoramic view, not this micro view where you're looking through a straw. He has this macro view where you're looking through a big old freaking tube, right? And that's how he sees it. And you got to give the guy credit, you know. Not he's affable, he's likable, and he comes across like a dude you want to have a beer with. I truly mean that. You know, I wish the guy well. I know he's somewhere, but even if I knew where he was, I wouldn't say that here. You know, that's just. I heard on a channel the other day somebody outing Tigre Salinas, saying that he was at a specific location, right? And I just would not do that. And I'm not critiquing the guy for doing it. I'm really not. But I just would not do it. You got to think about being responsible, right? You know, particularly if you're in this situation. You don't want anybody doing that to you. And if they do, what does it say about the people that are doing it, right? Like, why would you do that for some clicks and views? You know, I wouldn't do that. So you can rest assured that I'm not going to do that to anybody. Intentionally, I just wouldn't, you know, because I wouldn't want it done to me. But if they come, let's just say I'm prepared. With that said, this video, you know, because we keep doing these and people love them, right? But I want you to know it's going to go to the Russian mob, the Armenian mob. It's going to go to the Mongols. It's going to go to the cartels. And we're going to have meetings with those guys and videotapes and audio tapes. But everything in its time, folks. This is a massive file with a bunch of audio, too. We haven't even got into the audio because there's bugs and wiretaps and pinhole cameras and cars that are wired up and guys wearing cameras into casitas. And it just goes everywhere. So strap on your seatbelts, folks. This is going to be a ride. It's going to be a ride. This series is going to take us, you know, all the way to the end of the year, I think. But Perico's going to be a recurring theme. He's one of our returning characters, and we love him. We love Perico. Every time I hear that song now, my shoulders start moving. You know, we should even make a T-shirt, Humdinger, and another one, Periquito, Periquito. All right, folks. With that said, let's unpack this debrief. This is the second part of the fourth video, and not the fourth video in the series because we're breaking these down. They're just so massive that you got to break them down into little pieces, right? All right, here we go. We're going to run it again. He's at Walnut Sheriff Station. For those of you just jumping in, this is Perico Rocha, Mexican Mafia member from Norwalk, California. He was made on the streets. He got arrested for extortion, and this is him checking out. He's debriefing, which means he's defecting from the organization and cooperating with law enforcement. And this is how a debrief goes, folks. and I'm going to reiterate this really solidly and really clearly. This does not refer to any one content creator. It doesn't refer to anybody else. Everybody's experience is their experience. I am not critiquing anybody for that. So please, don't jump to conclusions. You know, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So do not assume that I'm speaking about anybody because I am not. Here we go.
You know, if I stop and think it out,
no, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
You know,
early to mid '90s, right? Somewhere around there.
I'm sure my record would.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I'm saying. If I had something like that, even to go with a timeline, I could probably put things together better. Because I'm just going.
Don't
you
worry
know,
about it.
I'm trying to go on a natural,
for right
off
now,
the cuff.
Don't worry.
You know,
So you were sent to Pelican Bay. Your cellmate was who?
Weddle Sherm
Okay.
from San Diego.
That's a shocker. I never knew he was Sally's with Weddle Sherm. Catfish lips. Yeah, I just never knew that. Sherm was everywhere. But obviously he was Sally's with him.
Do you know his real name?
Raw Leon. I think that's the name. I'm not sure.
Right.
Were you with all Mexican Mafia members up there
No,
when you went to Pelican Bay or no?
No, just me and Weddle were in the cell together. Theo Pio was in, I think, another pod. We were all in D10, but I was in this one right here. Then Theo Pio was over here. You know, we were like in the same D10, whatever, however many pods are in there.
T.O.P.O., what's his true name?
Benny Peters.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were there, just bullshitting, you know.
I would imagine that Benny Peters and Sherm being in the same block would have been difficult for them both, right? Because they both have massive egos, like all members do, right? There's some that don't. Some are pretty quiet, but for Sherman Topo specifically, right? And you heard him. Remember, I said they call Benny Tio Pio. A lot of people mistook that for Tio as in uncle, Pio Pio, right? And he just pronounced it right now, Tio Pio, but it's Topo, right? And its name is Topo, right? But I would imagine that those two huge personalities being in the same block would be difficult because Sherm's personality dwarfed Topo's. Sherm was like larger than life, yelling across pods every day, drinking every day. It was just he was like he needed that attention, and he had this. D10 was filled with San Diego guys, but I would imagine that had to have been difficult for him to share the spotlight with the little general. And I'm just in my head like, yeah, that was a recipe for disaster right there. At some point,
Talking. I was putting him up to speed on what happened, you know. When I remember when I first went through there, when I got busted, they sent me to Delano first before I went to the Pelican Bay because they know who I was. So I was on the main line. There was some guy there, actually, that I had hit, Blanco from Torrance, because they said some other camaradas told me that he disrespected one of the carnales up there in High Power or something. So we ran a diversion on the yard. It was we opened it. Because I think we were on our way to kill Patrick on the bus. I think that's when the cops killed them dudes. They killed some Sureños. They had that riot or whatever on the yard. So we got diverted en route. And then we went to Delano to open it up. We opened it up. I went through there. Nobody could believe, you know. Some people did, like from being in Orange County, because Sana, Mike, Champ, and them were letting him know, yeah, my carnal's right there. So everybody kind of, them dudes from Orange County kind of, yeah. You know, but I was still giving that eye like, nah, you know. You're too young, you know, you're too wild, you know. You let us do whatever we want. Because I'd get there like, no burpees. I'd change everything, you know. Like, I don't like burpees, you know. So I was like, I just changed stuff. You know, I didn't like some of the stuff they did. So, or some of the regulations that were in place, you know. Workouts, everybody up. I'm like, you're grown-ass men, you know what I mean? If I got to tell you to clean your cell, something's wrong with you, you know. If I got to tell you how to occupy your time, you know, yeah, if you want to work out, we'll work out. You know, it's just different things. So anyways, I went through that, you know, because a lot of dudes were sending around kites. Other guys would send me kites like, hey, they're saying you're not a carnal, this and that. I'd be like, well, you know, they can say whatever they want, you know. Tell them to go to the yard and tell me. And then, you know, things like that. Wow. So there was a couple dudes that got hit. Rooster from White Fence. And some dudes that didn't know I was a carnal did it on their own. You know, like, we know he is. Vampiro was still alive back then. He went through there. I seen him in Delano. Everybody was like in question.
Vampiro is Adrian Salmeron, and that's a cold story there. How they had him whacked out. Guate, Güero Smooth, a couple other brothers, Angel Valencia. They got together, and Guate was insisting that he wasn't made a carnal, right? So they sent camaradas to go kill him, and he was a made carnal. And nobody gets a picture of him. Nobody has a picture. I've tried, and nobody really has a picture of Adrian Salmeron. So if you got a picture of him, send it to my email, Rene Enriquez Uncensored at proton.me, and I will run the story. But I need some graphics of Adrian. But that was a horrific story there. Like, this is when the Verdaderos and Los Mejores, that little stupid clique they created, that secret little clique within the clique, was in full swing, right? And they had him eliminated. But that's another story for another time. I need graphics on it, and I can't do it without graphics. So let's listen to him talk about this.
You know what I mean? But when he sent word out to me, then everybody was like, "Whoa, he is," you know. Then when I went, then they finally put me in the hole. That's when we were going at it with the MS, the Salvatruchas, because they burned the flag and all that. So that was going on in the yards.
Mexican club.
Yeah. So
That occurred during the World Cup that Camarada saw MS-13 gang members burning the Mexican flag. The primary reason they were put on the green light list because MS, West Coast, MS-13, Los Angeles, was on the hit list at one point in time. That's another story for another time. Another episode coming up, folks.
anyway, we're there, and they now take me to the hole. I get what you call it, a shoe. Fuck, I caught time in there. I forgot for what. Something stupid. And I ended up going to the bay. You know, I seen Duty on the bus. You know, I talked to him. He's like, "What's up?" I just kind of ran down what's going on. The no drive-by thing that was in place, and I felt kind of proud of myself about it. So I tell any Carnal who listen, yeah, you know, I started that off just in case you start hearing that shit because, you know, I'd explain myself that, you know what, everybody's talking about it, but there was no action done. There was too many of us out there. The gangbang was going too strong, and so one of us were gonna get killed. You know, so better than do that than have start green light. You know, start fucking hitting every water. So anyways, I got up there, me and Wedo talk, whatever bullshit. DB was left out there after everything we had got going and working. Him and Scooby were left out there. He fucked it all off, you know, slamming, doing whatever he did because...
Was Scooby did?
No, Gibby.
Gibby, okay.
But Scooby helped him.
Oh, Gibby the Weasel rears his ugly head again. We can't get away from damn Gibby, can we? I think we got to do a Gibby t-shirt, too. Gibby the Weasel.
You know what I mean? I ended up finding out that... Anyways, I get out, you know. Everything's fucked up, you know. He got busted, actually, right before I got out. Him and Scooby. So the Vario's like upside down, you know, just running amok, or, you know, doing what a Vario does, doing whatever they want, kind of. So I went kicked back, you know, for about a week with my kids and my old lady. I had Priscilla now, you know what I mean? But I was in and out, you know. She always hold down a job, so I didn't really, you know. Even though I say most of the time she was with me and she'd come and visit me, like I said, even that time, I wouldn't miss a visit, you know. I even got on her one time because when I was in Delano, we were passing a knife, and it was Easter, and they show up at my door like, "Hey, Rocha, visit," and I'm like, "I'm not ready." They're like, "Well, you got to go right now." I'm like, "I can't go, you know, because I had the knife. I just got it on the line in my side, keistered it. I can't go nowhere, you know." So I got out and we raw jogged. But all this time, I'm just letting you know that I was with her, but you know, I was so just, I guess say, caught up in my own shit that she was there, they were there, but I still didn't pay them no, you know. I'd see her, I'd be with her for a week, but boom, I had 3, 4, 5 other girlfriends on the side. You know, I'd stay here, I'd stay there, I'd go there. I wouldn't want to bring nothing home. I wouldn't use drugs at home. So there's a lot of no-nos that's a lot of reason to why I stood away, you know. I wouldn't bring nothing home. I wouldn't get none of that shit there, you know. So I get out. I'm like, fuck. Start getting everything together. I hook up with Mike, the dude, my homeboy that I hooked up with before, the one that's selling the pounds of weed. He helps me out. You know what I mean? Give me some money.
He plays Roman.
Mike. Mike, what's his name? Gomez. I think that's his name, Gomez or something like that.
Was he from somewhere?
Yeah, he used to be from Norwalk. They called him Psycho Mike.
Psycho Mike.
Are you getting a cup? Yeah.
Vario Noah?
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, you want a cup of coffee? Anybody else?
Can I have some water?
Quick question about Blanco at Delano initially.
Who? Blanco?
At Delano.
That voice you're hearing now is Chris Brandon. He's a really quiet guy, really astute on the Mafia. He was there in my debrief. He would accompany me in my transport from Pelican Bay on the plane down to Long Beach. He was in the car with me, uh, and like I said, he's a really easygoing guy. Retired now, L.A. Sheriff's Majors Bureau. But this is him speaking now, questioning Perico.
How was that carried out? Was it finished? Was it missed?
No, it was taken care of actually. It was brand new yard. It was open, so it was all dirt. There was nothing there. They had somebody, I forgot who, somebody told me that there was some paisa there, but he was in another building. I don't remember who he was, but he came to me. And he goes, "Hey, Perico, I heard about you." And he was an older dude. And he told, I forgot who, but he was like, "Hey, whatever you need, woo, woo, woo." He's starting to tell me all this stuff. And anyways, I ended up finding out, I guess Black Dan, I think it was one of Black Dan's friends. So I guess, I don't know how they told him, but he was like, "Hey, whatever you need." So made me feel a little good. Older dude, he said he knew who I was. But, I was trying to keep it quiet. So anyways, this yard's brand new, where there's only like 3 buildings open, you know what I mean, and the shoe. So we go out to the yard, the tower's over there and over here. The bathroom's right here. There's all dirt. The basketball court's right here. And it's a big yard. So I figure there's no running on the yard. And I've seen guys, when we get out there running or jogging or doing whatever, Chumayates racing or whatever. And I seen every time they do it, one day I seen them racing, some guys, and the cops started yelling, "No racing, no running on the yard." But all the attention's focused over here on these guys running. They didn't stop. So that was my, kind of had the idea, oh, okay, that's how we're going to do this, We're going to wait for homeboy to walk over here by the bathrooms. There's the bathrooms. Right when he gets right there, when he's about right here, have these 2 homeboys run and not stop, no matter what the towers say. They just act like they're running. It's going to be like, no running, no running. So everybody, the whole yard is going to be looking at him. Nobody's going to be looking at what's going on way over here in this corner. So after he turns the corner, but they're not going to stop. So by the time they're almost there, and the towers are pissed off now and yelling at him, "Get down," or whatever, that's about the time he could hit Blanco a couple of times, walk straight to the toilet, have a homeboy right there, and make sure that the knife gets flushed. So that's how that got taken care of.
Did he die?
No, but he didn't say nothing. He got booked, bam, 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 bam.
Who actually did the stabbing?
I forgot.
But was that something like you directed?
Yeah, that's what I directed.
Okay, so you directed that. But did that come down from someone else?
Yeah, one of them camaradas there had told me that he disrespected, I think it was like Night Hour Boxer, because I think they were back in the county.
I rear my ugly head. There are so many heads. It's just hard to remember anything like that. But here's an important factor, right? Really important in establishing the credibility of a potential witness in the future. He just incriminated himself. Without hesitation said, "Yeah, I orchestrated that." That's a conspiracy to commit murder. He just admitted to a conspiracy to commit murder. There's an overt act. There's conspiracy number 1, and the overt act, the planning out, all that stuff, and the actual hit, right? That's he just incriminated himself. So for potential credibility as a witness, one of the things defense attorneys try to do is say, "Well, you didn't admit to anything, or you didn't disclose everything." He's disclosing what he can remember, right? Because it's very difficult on the hot seat to remember everything you've ever done. It really is. I've forgotten more than I remembered, but I try to be fully forthcoming when I am fully forthcoming to the best of my recollection, right, when I'm on the stand. But there's obviously stuff I forgot, and good defense attorneys find it, and they'll hit you with it. So, well, you admitted this, Mr. Enriquez. So why did you admit it? Does that mean you're lying or trying to make yourself look better? This does great for his credibility. Ultimately, his credibility was put in question later on down the line. But we're going to get into that. I don't want to put the horse before the carriage, or the carriage before the horse. Excuse me. But this is a key component here in establishing the credibility of a witness and a reliable informant, right? Because Perico goes on to become an informant. So let's get the distinction clear, right? Because everybody says informant, this, that, the other, right? This is debriefing, right? In a sense, it's informing. You're providing information, right? In the literal translation of it. But an informant for an agency is an operative informant. right? That means you're going to wear a wire. You're going to go out and do controlled buys. You're going to set people up. That's what an informant is, right? So he's incarcerated now. There's no way he can be an informant unless he's working like with OSJ and stuff like that. He said, well, the knives are here. This is that. There's been plenty of jailhouse informants, right? That's not what he's doing right now. He's debriefing. That's a whole different ball of wax. A lot of people who are not in the know like to throw that word around, and they don't even know what the hell it means. So if you don't know what the hell it means, then shut the hell up.
One of them were back in the county at that
But
time.
is there a process you have to go through to like say, yeah, you can verify it before you whack some dude? Or you just take the guy's word?
Yeah, I
that
kind of
he
take.
fucking said it,
I
then
don't
gotta
think
take-
he's. Yeah.
So even the dudes that would disrespect it, they're not even aware you're putting that together, right?
Yeah.
They don't even know that that's what's happening.
No.
You're just doing it because
Why is he asking this question? The dudes that are put it out the hit, the dudes, which is me, obviously. This is Los Angeles County Jail. It had to be me because Daryl wasn't down there. Daryl Baca Night Owl. This is about the era that I was there. And like I said, so many people got put in a hat that, I'd be hard pressed to remember a couple of them, let alone this guy. But why? I think it's Chiccone's ask. I believe it's Ciccone is asking this question: is do the guys know that it's going down, right? So they can be implicated in the conspiracy if an indictment comes. So he's establishing, the overt acts, participants, co-conspirators. That's what he's doing here. So look at this as like the formulation of an indictment, right? All these stories, when they start hitting with pointed questions like who knew, where was the body, where's the blood, who did the hit, what weapon was used, this is all going towards an indictment.
dude told you, hey, that's what happened,
Yeah.
and then you organize it and get someone to
Yeah.
do it.
What was the guy
You
who got
remember
stabbed? His
who
name?
actually did the sticking?
Blanco.
Blanco from
No, I'm trying to think. I think it was some dude from Orange County.
So just a gangster that was there.
Yeah, just a homie that was.
Blanco from where?
He was from Torrance.
Do you know his real name?
No. He was a white guy though.
Anybody catch a 115 behind that?
No, he didn't tell her nothing. He got hit. And then after he got hit, he just took it, went, got checked, went into the unit. He didn't say nothing. And then I guess in a count, when you're supposed to stand up to count, he couldn't stand up. And they seen him, and they put him out.
Eastside Torrance.
He
Torrance
was
204 Street.
From Torrance Flats.
Oh, okay. So
Tortilla Flats.
Tortilla Flats. Okay.
As far as you know, that's an issue's never been made about it.
No.
Where's that dude now, Blanco?
Taco knows.
And he was just some nobody basically, right?
And the story that I remember was that he disrespected. It was one of the canales from Artisha. Night hour boxer. Because, yeah. He had did something, or they told him to say something stupid, something real stupid. And I just took it as, because he was real, like, to himself in the corner, like, this guy's hiding something, something's up with him. I sent homeboys over to go try and just see what's up with him. He was just real to himself, so almost like he knew something was coming, or he did something wrong and it's gonna get found out. Or,
Oh shit.
yeah. So yeah, that's how that happened.
And this Faisal that came and told you about it, he was a friend of Blackhand?
No, he didn't tell me about it.
No,
He just came and told me, today I know who you are. If you need anything, let me know. I'm right here in this building. Woo, woo. But I told him, just, what I mean? Everybody don't know who I am.
Did you hear that? Woo, woo, woo.
And I don't want him to know. He's like, no, well, I know, and this and that. I'm like, whatever.
How did you find out about Blanco? How did you issue from that?
Fuck it.
What is it?
You want the one with
Scott.
more
No.
light or dark?
Dark light? Dark?
Yeah.
There's a dark one here. You want all black?
Oh, this is good. So how did you find out about the issue of Blanco?
Camarada in there told me.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that he had told me that he, I think that they said either he got checked, he got beat up, or he was supposed to, but he got away or something. There was some issue there that just wasn't no good, And that's how I got carried out.
And you pretty much got shipped up to the bay after that, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't fade any heat on that at all.
No. I got a shot. I got a write-up. I just don't remember what it was for because they ended up adding on 6 more months.
He called it a shot. That's what they call it in the feds. When you get a write-up, it's called a shot, right? and in CDC, they call it a write-up or a CDC 115. So you know he's been to the feds. If you call it a shot, you know he's been to the feds. And obviously, Perico has been to the feds.
You know, and now they're adding on 6 more months to my violation already.
So then you go up to Pelican Bay up there for a little bit,
Yeah, for a couple months, whatever.
and then back out to the neighborhood and everything's
Fucked up.
basically,
No, everything's upside down. I get back with Mike.
You hook back up with Mike.
You know, he gives me a little bit of money.
The Mike he's talking about is Mike Boo. That's Mike Moreno, part of the Moreno dynasty. We're going to do an episode on them as well.
I move in with him. I start going to the shop. One of my homeboys got a shop out there in Paramount, auto body. So I just go there. That's like the hangout right now. You know, I'm figuring, fuck, I gotta do something to get back on my feet. The water's all fucked up. My boy Spanky gets out. Louis Ayala. He gets out. I hook up with him.
Was he a Carnal?
No. He's just a friend, but when he gets out, I bring him around with me.
Oh, thanks.
I got a couple young homeboys, so running around, running amok. So I get them, my homeboy Speedy. I had another homeboy, I forgot who it was. Just youngsters though, like 14, 15-year-olds running around.
When you get out like that, do you have to meet up with all the guys that are out just to see catch up, what's going on, what they got going?
No, I met up with I'm pretty sure Sammy was out when I got out that time.
But that's not
Because that was one of the meetings I went to, and I remember when we went to it, he picked me up, and we went to the motel. And I remember that was the first thing out my mouth. I remember that specifically. I'm like, what's up with these motels? He's like, I don't know. I got out and we just started coming. I would tell him, something ain't right.
So he's talking about Sammy Villalba, Negro Morticia, and they're talking about the series that I just ran, the secret hotel meetings. Those were arranged, and people have 1,000 different questions about those hotel meetings. Who put the cameras there? Who arranged it? Well, here's what happened. Chuco went through the same process. Ernie Castro, the carnal that flipped, right, in the 1995 RICO indictment, United States versus Alex Aguirre et al., when all the carnales got indicted in 1995. Once Chuco went through this process, he became an embedded source. In other words, he got released after his arrest and was sent out to work with the Mexican Mafia members and bring them to meetings, and the FBI coordinated everything, right? They put the cameras in the hotel rooms. They rented the rooms. Everything was under the control of the United States Department of Justice and approved by OEO in Washington, D.C. So don't think that Chuco went in there and put a little camera and that he went and hand over fist rented the hotel room. FBI coordinated all of this. Unbeknownst to all these carnales, like Perico said, like, what's with these hotel rooms? Something's not right here. He had the vibe, right? He had the vibe. When they were first doing juntas, what I did in the Topo Peters Little General series, those 2 episodes, was I showed you photos where they're having meetings at the park with the families. FBI could not infiltrate those meetings because they were off the cuff, spontaneous, and nobody had time to prep. And at that time, Chuco wasn't cooperating. But once an individual becomes an informant, he becomes an operative informant. That's hand over fist, transactional, right? So he knows something's wrong, and he detects it. So for all the people out there asking questions about, well, who did the camera, and who got the room, and who arranged this, and why the hotel room? Because the FBI wanted it in the hotel room. That's why.
These are the meetings that were set up by Chuco.
Yeah. And I told him something, he goes, fuck it, whatever. I remember he goes, you want to go? I hesitated. I stood outside for a little while. I'm like, I don't know. He goes, we've been going to these, they're all right. And I had asked a couple questions, like, who gets them?
Was this during that first case?
Yeah. And I remember even after.
Was this during the first case?
Yeah.
That he was going to these motels?
I remember even after that first meeting there, I told him, you know what, let's stay in this motel. Chuck was like, nah. You know, and honestly, now in my gut, I knew something was wrong with him. Because I used to like grill him on the side, where you can't see us out of camera. And I'd tell him, hey, let me keep the motel. Because I'd ask around, who got it? Who got the motel? Nobody seemed to know, but I'd always come back to Chuck, and I'd tell him, well, let me pay, I'll pay you for it, let me keep it. Nah, I forget, he always have one excuse or the other why he couldn't keep it. You know what I mean? But I knew, and I had mentioned to Negro like more than one occasion. Something's wrong with this. You know what I mean? And even another kind of made a comment about it.
I think we have a clip of that where Gibby wants to stay, and we were sitting with Perico, and Chuco said, nah, I'm responsible. Like every time Gibby wanted to steal something, in fact, the camera itself that was embedded or secreted within the radio, Chuco stops him. I think Chuco had like pucker factor 100 at that point. That Gibby's actually approaching. He said, I'm going to steal this radio, and Chuco stops him. No. I'm going to take the TV. I'm going to take this. Oh, Gibby the Weasel, that's when we named him, because he says, at least I'm going to steal a pen. So what he's talking about right here is verified on video. We saw that. You guys saw it. We brought it to you. Now he's corroborating that right now.
Think of Sammy, right?
Yeah.
He's the one that got away.
Yeah. I mentioned it a couple times. Something wrong with this.
The one that got away.
So,
It's an interesting story.
yeah.
The plot thickens.
So I hook up. I end up finding out when I get out with Mike. I end up finding out that. Well, see, Mike was somebody we were after. When I got busted in Orange County, let me back up here. When I got busted in Orange County, I was looking for Mike. He was already running around doing things.
Psycho Mike.
Yeah, Psycho
Okay.
Mike. Now,
Okay, let's retract now. He just identified Psycho Mike, not Mike Moreno. He's talking about a different Mike entirely.
when I got arrested, Gibby and Sleepy, he came to them saying that he heard that I was looking for him to kill him. Psycho Mike, yeah. So Gibby and them, they go, you know what? I called to the pad. I'm on the phone in Orange County. They're like, hey, we got Mike right here. I'm like, well, and, you know what I mean, handle it. You know what time it is? Because Gibby's from Norwalk too, right? He's about, nah, well, he gave Homeboy a car. I think he gave Sleepy a car.
Time out. Did you want to get at him? Did you want to whack him?
Did I want,
Mike.
I probably.
Handle it usually means something.
Yeah, well, I figured if we seen him, we're going to fight. You know what I mean? Because yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call BS right here. You see his wheels are spinning. You can hear it in his head. Woo! Those little wheels are, woo! They're spinning, right? He's going to implicate himself in another conspiracy right here. Like, let me think about this for a second. And I think it's pretty ridiculous to assume that carnales are looking for somebody, and they locate him, and he says, yeah, we're going to fight. No, it doesn't work that way, folks. I'm calling BS on this one.
That's the way I looked at it. I didn't roll around with a gun, so if I did see him...
Except this time that you got arrested at Marine Corps
Yeah,
Station
actually,
El Toro with a gun, and the time you
well,
flipped the car with a gun, and at the meeting.
So Francis is calling BS too. He said, yeah, you don't roll around with a gun, but you just got arrested with a gun rolling up to the Air Force base with a gun, because he just told us that, right? So this is all important stuff, right? Because it calls into question credibility, right? A defense attorney would have a field day with this right here.
Meeting with a gun, and when you met the chick with the gun, and but other than those times, you don't roll around with guns. Guns are dangerous.
No, well, actually... Like,
Violence begets violence.
What was the beef with him?
with Mike, he ranked out. So it was like a barrio issue, you know?
Okay.
It wasn't really a carnal issue or nothing. That's why Gibby knew about it. I'm like, hey, how was he ranked out? Fucking. So in other words, like, jump him out of the barrio too. You know what I mean? You can't just walk out.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So...
Which is kind of crazy, because carnales are not supposed to gangbang, right? But that doesn't stop them. That doesn't stop them from set tripping, because some carnales set trip.
they had him. He's like, well, what do you want? So Gibby starts trying to tell me over the phone, him and Sleepy, hey, you know, this Vato got a lot of shit. This is how I find out he was slinging all this weed. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And I remember telling him, take care, you know, hey, we'll take care of your old lady while you're gone. So I'm like, whatever. So I left that to them. So when I got out, now I meet Mike. Mike tells me, hey, check it out. Negro had propositioned him to buy him off me. You know what I mean? I'm like, you don't belong to me. You know what I mean? He goes, well, yeah, I know that. I'm just saying you're my homeboy, and I want to look out for you and Gibi and this and that, right? And I'm like, oh, well, whatever. You know, I didn't think, but it was good to know that I started seeing some of the.
Did he give you the money to basically pay you off so that you didn't have to beat him up? Is that what happened?
We're going to stop it right there, folks. We got one more segment in this video, and we're going to bring it to you. But we catch Perico slipping a little bit here, right? And so does Francis and all the other cops. They're like, what? Hold the presses. Hold the frickin' presses. Yeah, you don't carry a gun, but you just said you carry a gun everywhere. Comical, bro. You cannot make this as classic, right? You can't make it up. And these videotapes and some other credibility issues come up in the future. We're going to get to that when we get to it. Like I said, think of this episode as a primary step in the overall conspiracy that became massive. And I'm going to tell you right now, when Perico talked about Armenians, when he talked about Russian mob, when he talked about Mongols, when he talked about cartels, we have the video. We're going to bring it to you, folks, step by step, inch by inch. We're going to do it. That's assured. I promise you that. So Perico is not going anywhere. In fact, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So stand by to stand by. We got it coming. With that said, folks, that concludes another episode. As always, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think about Periquito. All right, folks. Peace out. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.
This is Rene Enriquez.